Willkommen zurück zur zweiten Hälfte des letzten Renntages in der RMC in Muelsen. Es hat stark durch die Mittagspause geregnet, sodass wir das Wochenende unter Wet Race Bedingungen beenden werden. Welcome back to RMC in Muelsen for the second half of the final day of the first weekend. And heavy rain has fallen during the lunch break, so we will be continuing the weekend under wet race conditions. DD2 Masters now out on track for their first race, and here is your starting order. So on the front row of the grid, from pole position, we'll start the number 544 of Dennis Thum from Kartsport Klim. Daniel Schellenberger from Schellenberger Racing in the 522 will line up alongside on the front row. Timo Haug from FM Racing in the 507 will have the 555 of Stefan Krabel from Kraft Motorsport alongside. Marco Winkler in the 566 and Daniel Yildiz in the 572 complete the top three rows. Ahead of Konrad Bayer in 7th, Andreas Frenzel in 8th, Klaus Barnett in 9th, Falco Birkholz in 10th, and Daniel Schulz in the 524 rounds out the 11-strong order. 14 minutes on the clock have been set to start counting down the minute we get a good racing start. The red lights now ignite on the starting gantry to kickstart the first of 7 races this afternoon. So we'll be down to Dennis Thum and Daniel Schellenberger to control the race start. As Daniel Schulz now brings up the rear of the field. They come round the penultimate corner. As we get ready to start the afternoon's action here at RMC in Muelsen. The drivers now separate and go into the tram lines. They will have to mitigate the difficult wet weather conditions that face them over the next 14 minutes. It is lights out and we are off and racing. As it was nearly 3 abreast going for second position heading into the first corner, the first main corner on the circuit. As it's nearly 3 abreast coming out of the turn. And in the lead of it is the 554 of Dennis Thum with Timo Haug. And Daniel Schellenberger now rounding out the top 3. So it's going to be about tippy-toeing through the chicane. The drivers, when they put the power down, might find the rear tyres spooling up and the cart's breaking traction. And now Dennis Thum has got a little bit of an advantage in the initial conditions. The drivers behind having to contend with the spray being spooled up by the rear tyres from the drivers in front. As it looked like that Stefan Krabel was going to try and overtake Daniel Schellenberger. And it looks like Schellenberger is trying to cope. It's side by side for second position, with Timo Haug having Daniel Schellenberger go up the inside as they went side by side across the start-finish line. And Haug still on the back bumper of Schellenberger as they head into the main infield part of the circuit here. Running order at the moment is Dennis Thum, Timo Haug down in third behind Daniel Schellenberger, who is in second position. And at the back of a little bit of a train is Andreas Frenzel, just behind the 508 of Konrad Bayer. Marco Winkler in the 566 is in 6th position, with Klaus Barnett just up ahead. So the gap between first and second was around 2 seconds between Dennis Thum and last time around it was Timo Haug who was in second position. But Daniel Schellenberger in the 522 is in second. Lead across the line to start lap number 3. And Konrad Bayer closing on Klaus Panett, who's been overtaken by Marco Winkler in the 5.66 for 5th position. As Bayer going round the outside of the 5.02 of Klaus Panett, and the pair are side by side, still going into the corner. Bayer relinquishes the position. So both the likes of Dennis Thum and Daniel Schollenberger have got a clear lead over the rest of the opposition, as Timo Haug and Stefan Krabau now battling over 3rd place. So these are the first drivers to get tested under the wet weather conditions, which did hit the circuit for the majority of the morning, well, most of the morning and also part of the afternoon before the track started drying out. Gap now between Thum and Schollenberger now is 3.9 seconds. Timo Haug is 6.7 seconds off of the leader, as there looks to have been a change for position, as Timo Haug and Stefan Krabau still battling away over 3rd place, as Krabau was trying to go towards the outside coming out of the first couple of corners, as Daniel Schultz now comes across the start-finish line. Cart not sounding 100% healthy. But now just keeping an eye on what's happening with from 3rd onwards, as the 2 drivers at the front of the field, Dennis Thum and Daniel Schollenberger, continue to lead the way. So the lead now is 4.7 seconds. 3rd place is Timo Haug. Stefan Krabau being chased down by Marco Winkler. Gap between them just under 0.4 of a second. And I think I just saw a move up the inside. Well, Konrad Bayer still battling away with Klaus Panett for 6th place. So they filter their way through into the main infield, heading towards the far part of the circuit. So the drivers having to use different racing lines in order to get the power down. Some will take a wider approach into the corner, some will take a tighter rein into the apex. Eight minutes and 34 seconds plus an additional lap. Leader now comes across the line to complete lap number 5. And the margin now between Thum and Schollenberger is now 5.3 seconds. Timo Haug will cross the line in 3rd. Krabau still rounding out the top 5. 4. Marco Winkler rounding out the top 5. Klaus Panett is about half a second off Marco Winkler, who is in turn half a second off Stefan Krabau. As Winkler now closing on Krabau and is right up behind, going through into the run towards the back part of the circuit. Winkler did look to try and go up the inside towards the chicane that will put them on the back straight away, which has a chicane in the middle of it. And now Konrad Bayer has got past, but is now ahead of Andreas Wenzel. So has dropped time to Klaus Panett, who's just up as Winkler trying to get past Krabau and goes out of the corner knee sideways and has just behind the 5.02 of Klaus Panett from Nice Racing. As Panett nearly comes into contact with Marco Winkler coming out of turns 2 and 3, but Winkler able to power out of danger. 6 minutes and 50 seconds plus an additional lap still to go in this first of two DD2 Masters races. And seeing some of the drivers go through the chicanes, they are having to wrestle with the carts as the back end's trying to break traction. The drivers are having to use steering inputs to correct, to help the carts go through the corners. So the first two drivers, Dennis Thum leading still Daniel Schollenberger by 6.263 seconds. Haug still in third. Nearly 0.8 of a second ahead of Stefan Kabal. Then it is Marco Winkler. As that was a very good move there by the number 566 of Marco Winkler, getting up the inside of Stefan Kabal. And now signals to the 555 to sort of say, come on, work with me. Let's catch up to those in front. And just up ahead, they've got the 507 of FM Racing's Timo Haug in their direct line of sight. And with 5 minutes and 20 seconds plus a lap still to go, all 11 competitors still out on the circuit. As now, looks like Marco Winkler has lost out to Stefan Kabal coming out of the final corner. Klaus Barnett is not too far behind as Winkler goes towards the outside of the first main corner, goes around the outside, and there's a bit of a moment there for Stefan Kabal. And then all of a sudden, Klaus Barnett, I think, might have just gotten through and has done so. Konrad Bayer is not too far behind either. So Barnett goes on the defensive line, head of Kabal. Bayer not too far adrift as Daniel Yildiz now crosses the line, running in 10th position. So behind Timo Haug, the battle for 4th position is waging on between Marco Winkler, Stefan Kabal, Klaus Barnett, and now joining it is Konrad Bayer in the 508 from RS Competition. As Winkler again on the penultimate corner nearly loses out 4th place. They come through the right-hander onto the start-finish straight. Bayer now getting closer and is going to try maybe to see if he can get past Stefan Kabal in the not too distant future. As towards the inside of Marco Winkler goes Klaus Barnett, takes a tighter line, but it seems like the outside line is working a bit better for Marco Winkler. 3.5 minutes to go as we are now on lap number 10, as there has been a moment for one of the drivers, and that looks to be, I think, Stefan Kabal that's just might have lost out, or was it Klaus Barnett? So that was maybe Andreas Frenzel, maybe, but again our leader will be coming across the start-finish line now. Dennis Thum goes a little bit sideways, trying to apply the power through the halfway point of the right-hand sweeper. As now Schollenberger crosses the line, still in second. Timo Haug takes a glance over the right shoulder and sees that Marco Winkler is trying to close. And Winkler did a 1 minute 7.128, over 0.3 quicker than Timo Haug. Klaus Barnett in 5th, Konrad Bayer, Andreas Frenzel, and it was Stefan Kabal that did drop a couple of places after coming out of the chicane on the first part of the main infield complex. So the 544 of Dennis Thum crosses the line. and goes on to lap number 12. 11 laps completed, and we have 1 minute and 47 seconds still to go on the clock. Daniel Schultz still completing the running order in 11th place at the moment, as Schollenberger crosses the line, 12.255 seconds adrift. Then it is Timo Haug. 7 tenths behind is Marco Winkler in 4th. Klaus Parnett is about 4 tenths of a second behind the 566, 5th position. But Winkler looks to be getting closer to Timo Haug in the dying stages of the race. 1 minute 15 plus a lap still remaining. Still rather tentative out there, with some of the drivers making sure that they get to the end of the race and score some valuable points. So now Dennis Thorn will go onto the penultimate lap of the race. Almost 14 minutes of racing completed. Schollenberger still crosses the line in 2nd, but has started to close what was quite an insurmountable gap. 11.8 seconds behind Dennis Thun is Daniel Schollenberger, as Klaus Parnett looks again up the inside of Marco Winkler. But then Winkler gets a good run out of the corner, tries to close up on the 507 of Timo Haug. As now, round the outside of Marco Winkler, tries to go Klaus Parnett through the penultimate main technical part of the circuit, heading on to the back part of the track itself. But Winkler defends rather well in these wet weather conditions. As now the final lap board gets shown to Kartsport Klim's 544 in the form of Dennis Thum. Schollenberger now will see the final lap board, still in 2nd position. 12.5 seconds adrift. 3rd place is still Timo Haug, as now Klaus Parnett manages to slingshot past Marco Winkler for 4th place. And we've had a 5-second penalty handed to Konrad Bayer for pushing. As sideways goes Klaus Parnett, and then round the outside of him goes Marco Winkler. So a change back for 4th place, as our leader now heads up to the last couple of corners. The first of the 2 right-handers, as 3rd, 4th and 5th. Still, well, getting very, very close indeed, but Timo Haug gets a better run out of the corner. Checkered flag waves, and this time casually 2 hands off the steering wheel. Oh, bit of a drama there for Marco Winkler. Now, was there a little bit of a contact between him and Timo Haug, as that has allowed Klaus Parnett to end up back into 4th place? As, sideways goes our 3rd place driver, Timo Haug, but controls it across the line to take 3rd. Klaus Parnett did finish ahead of Marco Winkler, who rounded out the top 5. Fenster takes 6th ahead of Konrad Bayer. Stefan Graber will finish in 8th place. As now Daniel Schultz will come across the line in 11th place. The 520 of Falco Birkholz will take 9th. And round the final corner comes Daniel Yildiz in the 572. And will cross the line in 10th place.